Here is a true story from orphan to icon, the untold story of Coco Chanel. She wasn't born into luxury. She didn't grow up surrounded by opportunity, influence, or wealth. Long before her name became one of the most powerful in fashion, she was just a girl trying to survive. Her real name wasn't even Coco. It was Gabrielle Chanel. She was born in 1883 in France into poverty. Her father a street vendor, her mother a struggling laundress. Life was unstable from the beginning. Constant movement, little security, and then everything collapsed. At just 11 years old, her mother died, and not long after, her father abandoned her. No goodbye, no plan, just gone. She and her siblings were left behind, sent to a convent-run orphanage. Imagine that. No family, no support system, no clear future, just silence, structure, and survival. But inside that orphanage, something happened that would quietly shape history. She learned how to sew, not because she had dreams of becoming a designer, not because she wanted to build a brand, but because that was the only skill available to her, the only way to function, the only way forward. And most people in that situation would have accepted that life. But she didn't, because even though her environment was small, her thinking wasn't. Years later, she left the orphanage and stepped into the real world. Not as a designer, not as a visionary, but as a seamstress, working quietly, earning little, trying to survive. At the same time, she tried something different. She became a cafe singer, not because she was exceptionally talented, but because she was trying to find her place, trying to become something more. That's actually where the name Coco came from, linked to songs she performed during that period. But here's the thing. Nothing about her early life suggested greatness. No one was watching her. No one expected anything from her. She wasn't special in the way people think success begins. She was just consistent, observant, different. Because while others followed what already existed, she started questioning it. At that time, fashion, especially for women, was restrictive. Tight corsets, heavy layers, clothing designed more for appearance and comfort. Women looked elegant, but they were uncomfortable, restricted, limited. And she noticed it. That's where everything began to shift. Because instead of accepting what fashion was, she imagined what it could be. Now understand this clearly. Ideas alone don't change anything. Execution does. Around 1910, with financial support from someone who believed in her, she opened her first small shop in Paris. Not a luxury empire, not a global brand, just a small hat shop. That's how it started. Small, quiet, unimpressive, but different. Her designs were simple, clean, elegant in a way people weren't used to. And slowly, people started noticing. Not everyone, but enough. Then she made a decision that would completely change everything. She started using a fabric called jersey. At the time, jersey was cheap, commonly used for men's underwear. No one considered it luxury. No one saw value in it. But she did. She saw potential where others saw limitation. And she transformed it. She turned something ordinary into something powerful, comfortable, elegant, practical. And women responded to it. Because for the first time, fashion wasn't just about looking good. It was about feeling free. Her designs removed restriction. They gave movement. They gave confidence. They gave identity. And that's when her influence began to grow. Not because she followed trends, but because she created change. Within a few years, her work started attracting attention from influential women. Her reputation grew. Her brand expanded. And what started as survival became impact. She introduced designs that would go on to define generations. The little black dress, the Chanel suit, timeless pieces that still exist today. But here's something most people don't understand. Her journey was not smooth, it was not perfect, and it was not without controversy. During World War II, her life became complicated. She was linked to powerful figures, including a German officer, and her actions during that period damaged her reputation. Because success stories are never as clean as people want them to be. There are always shadows. There are always decisions that raise questions. And because of that period, she disappeared from the spotlight. For years. No noise, no attention, no dominance. Most people thought it was over, that her time had passed, that her legacy was finished. And this is where most people's stories end. They rise, they fall, and they stay there, but not her. Because in her 70s, when most people are slowing down, she came back. She returned to fashion in the 1950s, after more than a decade away. And at first, people doubted her. Critics questioned her. The industry had changed. New designers had taken over. But she didn't try to fit into the new world. She stayed true to her vision, simple, elegant, powerful. And slowly the world responded again, especially outside France. Her designs regained attention. Her influence returned. And once again, she rose to the top. Think about that. From abandonment to obscurity to dominance to controversy to disappearance and then back to power. That is not luck. That is not talent alone. That is identity. That is discipline. That is resilience. And that's the real lesson. Because this is not just about fashion. It's about you. Most people believe they need perfect conditions to succeed, but she didn't have that. Most people think they need support. She didn't have that either. Most people think failure is the end, but for her, it was just part of the process. She didn't wait for opportunity. She created it. She didn't follow the system. She changed it. She didn't stay the same. She evolved again and again and again. And that's why her name still exists today. Because in a world where people try to fit in, she built something that stood out. So if you feel like you're starting from nothing, you're not alone. If you feel like no one sees you, you're not alone. If you feel like your progress is invisible, that's part of it. Because every powerful story has a phase where nothing makes sense, where nothing is working, where everything feels slow. But that's not failure. That's formation. That's the stage where identity is built. So don't rush it. Don't quit in it. And don't underestimate it. Because one day, the same phase you're in right now will become the reason you stand out, just like hers did. #CTA. If this inspired you, like, subscribe, share, because this channel is where fashion meets mindset, power, and identity. And comment below, come back if you're not stopping.